I guess the big question to start off with is how do you see this energy crunch impacting the drive to renewables? Is it going to slow us down?
Well, hopefully it doesn't, because I think what the world is realizing is that the longer your supply chains are, whether it's for gas or coal, the more the opportunity for something going wrong in that supply chain. And especially if your supply chain sits in faraway countries, then there is scope for you getting impacted, even though there's nothing wrong happening in your country, it's something happening in some faraway location. And so I think the importance of renewable energy, which is mostly domestic and mostly does not involve any fuel supply issues. Um, I think the merits of renewable energy therefore become that much more apparent. And it would appear to me that in this kind of environment, a lot of countries will take the view that it is better to have energy independence, which you can through renewable energy, rather than have dependence on imported fuels and things like that. Now, if you take the case of India, India imports about $160 billion of fossil fuels every single year. That's a big dependence, and which is why the Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, has announced a target of becoming energy independent by 2047. And the only way we can do that is essentially by installing renewable energy capacities at much larger scales than we have currently, and using a mix of solar and wind and eventually green hydrogen to replace our dependence right now on both domestic and imported coal, as well as, in fact, oil imports and gas imports from overseas.
There is an argument that this move away from hydrocarbons is going to leave some economies too exposed. They're going to be too dependent on the weather and intermittent sources of fuel for energy. What do you make of criticism that renewables just aren't up to scratch yet?
Well, we're not looking at a binary situation right now, Dan. I think this is something that is going to evolve over time. Today, in most economies or most electricity systems, renewables only account for anywhere from 10% to 30% at most, and that too in certain European countries. But in large economies like China, India, and the US, for example, renewables only account for 10% of the total electricity being supplied. So we have a long way to go before this problem really becomes acute. I think that this issue that you're describing perhaps might arise in most economies, especially in the developing world, maybe 10 years later. Until then, we should just keep going ahead as rapidly as possible and expanding capacity. In the meantime, what will happen is, just exactly because of the reasons that you mentioned, there is a tremendous amount of work going on in technology development, on batteries, on pumped hydro, on green hydrogen, and all sorts of new technologies are going to emerge, including grid management, which will actually allow the percentage of renewables in the grid to increase dramatically. And along with, by the way, demand supply mechanisms. So I think all of that will allow us to really keep increasing the percentage of renewables in the system. And it'll take us many years yet to replace coal or to replace gas. It's not going to happen overnight. So this is a gradual transition that will play itself out over the next 20 to 30 years. But if we don't press the pedal today, then we'll never get to that point 20, 30 years from now to a position where we can actually start phasing out fossil fuels entirely from our systems. And if we don't do that, there's no way that we're going to get to net zero. So this is an absolutely urgent and imperative issue for the world to deal with. And if we don't do it now in the next 5 to 10 years, it's essentially going to become too late.